let's talk about Jim Harbaugh and his contract situation. Obviously, Chris, you had your report on Tuesday. Couple national guys 2 days late, but with some information today, obviously, and then once one person reports on it, then it's kind of like a piggybacking type of thing where everyone starts digging and wants to get their tweet out there. But the report from Sports Illustrated today about the 11 million, but obviously the key part is that one, it's not signed obviously yet, and two, that there's this clause that you wrote about again on Tuesday. People can check that out at thewolverine.com, but that there could be something in there, and I don't know how it would be worded or whatever. It'd be interesting to see, and will be if we get to see that, assuming it's done and you get the FOIA and everything. But that he could not be able to entertain any NFL job vacancies, any NFL job offers, that sort of thing, this offseason. So that would be, probably a first, that you've seen in college football with something like this.
Yeah, and I think Jim Harbaugh is going to be here unless he doesn't want to be in it, and that's no different than it's been. Well, it was different a couple of years ago, right? But last year, who knows? What I do know is that there needed to be some guaranteed language in there. They've gotten over one obstacle. There are still other obstacles, and we will talk about those in an article tomorrow, most likely at thewolverine.com. So he has NFL aspirations, and that's okay, Clay. There's nothing wrong with loving Michigan and still wanting to chase that Lombardi trophy. If he were to win a national championship this year, how many Michigan fans would say, you know what, come on, Jim, just stick around and show loyalty. Man, you've reached the pinnacle. Go get that Lombardi trophy, I think is what a lot of people would say, just the same as they would to a J.J. McCarthy or a Blake Corum or guys like that. Hey, you've done what you needed to do here. Go out and do what you really want to do. And there is that itch. I've heard it from too many people now to count that Jim still looks at his brother having that Lombardi trophy and says, man, what if? And that should have been mine type of thing. And that's the pinnacle. At the same time, he loves Michigan. So there's no question that he's split. And, his heart certainly is at Michigan. And, of course, one eye still on the NFL. So I think this could go a number of different ways. Anybody who says that, he's a lock to stay or a lock to go doesn't know what they're talking about. I think there are still things up in the air. And I think part of it, Clay, could be how this season finishes. So does that mean he's not going to sign it before the end of the year? I can't say that definitively, but would it surprise me? Absolutely not.
Yeah, there are no locks when it comes to Jim Harbaugh ever. Really, I mean, literally ever, about many different things, including the contracts. Obviously, putting a timetable on something just feels dumb at this point, given the track record, not just with Jim Harbaugh, but with Ward Manuel and the athletic department and how things have gone back and forth. Seems like annually, each and every year. It is funny, the brother thing. I remember Jim saying that, him and John had some sort of wrestling match like 20 years ago or 15 years ago, which is probably too old for like two brothers to be wrestling, but they're competitors. And Jim wins, kind of gives him a handshake and kind of gave him that look like, all right, does this settle it? I think is how John described it on a podcast. And then Jim said, though, after the Super Bowl, ever since then, John's been able to give him that look where it's like, all right, he kind of has that edge over him. And obviously it's not just the brother thing, but he's a guy who was in the NFL. He has one of the top winning percentages in NFL history. And like you said, it's okay he wants to be at Michigan. He also may want to, pursue other goals of his too. And everyone has different goals. And I would, commend him for, he's accomplished a lot of his, obviously. And, I mean, you can't really blame somebody for that. But obviously, if you're Michigan, selfishly, you want to keep the guy and do everything you can to. Close to 11 million, that would be, I think, the highest paid coach in the Big Ten, which he deserves, right? I mean, there's no question about that.
Yeah, and we've reported that he would be, right? Which means $11 million, and that's great. And he deserves it. He's earned every bit of it. And it should have been done last year, most likely. We keep talking about it. However, even if it was done, the buyout in there for the NFL wasn't going to be such that it would prevent him from going to the NFL or from preventing a team from paying it. So in my opinion, that is not going to be a detraction from that keeps him going. It's just not. It keeps him from going. So what it's going to come down to is, has he finished his goals and reached his goals here, and is he ready for that next step? He's going to get that 15-0 tattoo if they win it all, like he said, and then move on. And if he did, it's not going to be because Michigan didn't give him what he wanted. Let's be clear about that. It's all there now, and he's going to be the top paid coach in the Big Ten, one of the top paid coaches in the country. It's going to be about that NFL itch. It's not going to be because he didn't feel appreciated, in my strong opinion.
Yeah, I think probably current focus right now is recruiting Alabama, and that's about it. And then you certainly want to win the national championship. So then whatever you do is you'll leave or stay a national champion. But we'll see kind of how it plays out. Worth mentioning today, given obviously your report a couple days ago, and then others piling on as well today.